Hi, welcome to the Kate Show. With me today is Marc LaMartina. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, good, good. So, what made you want to play piano initially?
Ooh, that's a good question. Actually, I really didn't have much choice in the matter. I was 6 years old, and my mom wanted me to play piano. She loved Elton John and Billy Joel, and she wanted me to start playing, and so she had me sign up for lessons. And actually, my grandmother had a piano that I played a lot, just like doodled and played horrible music on when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So eventually she thought it would be a good idea for me to go ahead and get lessons, and so I did.
Oh, so you've always had an interest in playing piano?
Yeah, so like since I actually got into playing and started to learn scales and chords and all of that, I really got into it. I love music. I've always loved music, and being able to play has been really enjoyable. So yeah.
Have you always been singing too?
Not entirely. Like I sung through middle school.
Yeah.
There was a choir in our small private school that I went to, and we had a couple plays that I was in, and I sung in the play. And then I went through a time where I hit puberty and my voice went all sorts of crazy, and I sounded horrible for about 4 or 5 years. And then I kind of found myself again. And actually it's funny because I had auditioned for a band that just as the piano player when I was like 23 or 24, and they actually needed a singer. And so I didn't realize that, but going into it, I thought I was auditioning for just piano. And then they happened to ask me, hey, like, could you sing by chance? And or do you want to try to like sing this song? And I knew it, so I went ahead and sung. And they're like, you want to be our next singer? And I was like, sure, I'll give it a go. And I like totally BS'd my way through that.
That's funny. So
Yeah.
you're like singer by default.
Kind of, yeah.
So who are your influences?
Well, definitely the music that I grew up listening to, so kind of like definitely Billy Joel, definitely Elton John, the Beatles, like going back kind of to those times. More modern day, I would say I love, there's a singer-songwriter named Andrew McMahon, and he plays piano, but he's like also like a pop and rock artist, and so he was kind of, I think, one of the first to really bring piano, and he's like a classically trained pianist, and he was the first to really, I think, bring it to like pop rock in a certain way and very similar to like the band that I'm in now. And so he's a huge influence, just knowing that it's possible to really infuse piano into rock music the way that, like in our kind of rock music that we play. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to try writing songs?
You know, I'm not really sure when it started or kind of how it started, but I did start writing songs around, I think, like 10 or 11 years old.
Oh, cool.
I always wrote lyrics, I always wrote poems, and once I started playing the piano more and learn chords and learn how, like, what melodies went well with certain progressions, like, it just started to, I started to put actual melodies to the poems that I was writing.
Oh, cool.
And so, yeah, so it started kind of young, and I'm not sure why, but, I mean, I got really into it. And so even though I sounded terrible as like a teenager, I still wrote music like throughout that time.
Well, I'm glad you pushed through it. That's
Thanks.
awesome.
Yeah.
Dude. So you've been in Clear for Takeoff for a long time now.
Yeah.
Now, when you first met those guys, Brendan and Joe, did you like know, like, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing for a while?
It was like, it's kind of like when you first meet that girl and you realize, no. Well, actually kind of. Like, so I'll tell you the story real quick. Like, essentially, my band had broken up around like 2009. And then the other singer in the band, Brendan, his band broke up around the same time. And so I also did martial arts.
Yeah.
And so it was like an equally kind of passion of mine is martial arts. And so a friend of mine who happens to be Brennan's younger brother, I did martial arts with, and he like informed me that Brennan needed someone to play music with, and I was like, wow, I'd love to just jam out and see how that goes. And so I met one-on-one with Brendan, and we hit it off. Like, it just seemed like he showed me some of his music, and we played that. I showed him some of my music that I've been working on, and we played that, and it just went really well. And then he was like, well, you know, I've got this drummer guy that I've been working with for a couple years now. And so, like, you want to try jamming with him too? So that was Joe. Mm-hmm. And then Joe came in and we played kind of as a three-piece and went really well. And Brendan was kind of like in the studio working on some music. I just finished up some music in the studio. So like, we kind of just started to join forces and finish up the rest of his music. We added a couple songs that I was still working on, and then formed our first album, Wake the City. Just kind of
so cool.
So yeah, it just kind of happened, and I didn't know what to expect going in.
Right.
I had hung out with his younger brother Nate. I'd been to his house multiple times, but yet never met Brendan. And so like it was cool to kind of be there and not to just hang with Nate. It was cool to just like go there and play music, and then the band just kind of formed after that. So
that is so cool. Yeah. I never heard that story before from you. So that's really cool. Yes. And you guys, well, everybody just loves you guys together. You guys were all cast in a movie, Rise and Fall in Love.
Oh yes.
So how is your character in that movie similar to how you are in real life?
Well, pretty much was me. We played ourselves, but I mean, the only thing that I'd say would be a little bit different is if, like, in the movie, there's a part where Brendan like plays a guitar chord and an alien comes out of his guitar. And you know, in the movie I was like, whoa, that's really cool. And in real life I'd be like, oh my God, get me the hell out of here. I would be scared to death. So like that's a pretty big difference, I think.
I'd say that's pretty major, yeah.
Yeah.
Go wash your feet. Go down to your own house.
Hey, what are you doing here? Who are you?
I am Bobo, and I'm not from around here.
and I mean, like, in the movie I did some martial arts. I'm not sure I would have been as invested in saving this guitar, you know, that had an alien come out of it. I'm willing to like fight people over it. I'm not sure I'd actually do that in real life, but you know, that happened.
Yeah, especially not guys like Alfred Guy. I mean, because you were being chased by Alfred Guy and Kim Hwang, who were like these like
terrifying henchmen.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're like these kind of like beefy dudes that are like, you know, they obviously know what they're doing as far as fighting goes, and like, oh man, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah. I wouldn't have been. I'd be here, take it. Just take the guitar. Just don't hurt me.
It's your problem now.
So you do your own stunts in that movie, like martial arts and all that. All the worries and echoes through the night. I feel we've come to our destination. Motivation soars through my body. The doors they open wide. So what came first for you? Like you said, you were in some middle school plays and all. What came first, the acting or the martial arts?
I would say the martial arts came first. So like music started when I was like 6 probably. Martial arts was like 7 or 8 because I was like my mom put me in like an after school program. That's how it started, as like a 1st or 2nd grader. And then from there I just fell in love with it, and I found a school that did ninjutsu, which I was into because I love Ninja Turtles. So obviously like ninja, it was really cool. And I fell in love with that and did martial arts for almost 20 years. And taught martial arts and I was like the captain of our demonstration team, so I did lots of like, you know, kicks and flips and
like tricks and
stuff. Right.
That's so cool.
And like choreographed all of it. So I was really into choreographing. Actually, at one point I thought I was going to be like a stunt, like a fighting or a fight scene choreographer for like movies. I really loved that stuff. So that was a big thing. And then the acting actually came because there was a student that was at our martial arts school, Jeff Grimshaw, who was a producer for, at the time, HTS Sports. I don't know if you remember it, or I think, and they became Masson.
Right, yes. Yeah. They were like home team sports. And then, yes, I remember that, yeah.
And he was producing a pilot for Fox that was like a martial arts like based like anti-bullying kind of thing. Yeah. And they hand selected a couple people from the martial arts school to be in it. And so I was selected to be in it, and then I guess he really liked me, so he thought like I'd be like a good actor, and so he got me an agent. So I started working with this woman, Linda Townsend, who is like an agent or a manager down in DC, and stayed with her for about 10 years, 15 years or so. And so it's like it started off. It actually came from martial arts that I started acting. As weird as that sounds.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That's a really neat story. So what initially, well, you just kind of answered that, but what what initially drew you to acting as far, like doing your plays and stuff like that at school? So what drew you to that initially?
Well, the plays were really cool because it was an opportunity for me, like, I was kind of a shy kid in middle school, especially like the awkward time. Like I was definitely not a popular kid in middle school at all. I kind of found my way in college, or in high school and college, but in middle school I was really dorky. Like, and so, but through plays I could be somebody else. And like it was a way, because a lot of times you could work in like your talents into a play. Like aside from just acting, you could work in singing. You could work in like at times we did, acrobatic things, and I could throw those in. And so like it was a way for me to kind of like, so yeah, like I can do the cool stuff too.
That's really neat.
So yeah.
So what kind of character would you like to play that you haven't had a chance to play yet?
Oh, that's a good question. I've always kind of been like either a goody two shoes or like just a good guy.
Yeah.
And like in plays or in film. So it'd be interesting to kind of like turn the tables a bit and be like kind of on the dark side, like be a villain or something like that. That'd be kind of fun, I think.
Yeah. I think that you could do, like, I think, like, don't take this the wrong way, but I think that you have the right face for it, like, for being a villain. You know what I mean? Like the sort of, like, the steely gaze and, that kind of stuff, Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, that's really cool.
I hope that was a close-up.
So, Mark, tell us about the making of the video for Tightrope Shuffle.
So, Tightrope Shuffle, that was our first single, that we released after we had that album Line of Fire.
Right.
So it had been a little while before we had produced and released some new music. And this particular song, it's kind of like your average kind of feel-good song, and it has a lot of positive vibes. And we wanted the video to reflect that too. And so we have been working actually with you guys, with some old fellow named Lee Dahl, who you guys probably know, and we had seen some other videos out there, and where people really it was just kind of like a shot of a person dancing along to the song and really getting into it, really getting excited about the music, and just feeling really good. And so that was kind of what we thought. We saw this one video with it has like Christopher Walken in it. It's a really famous video.
Oh yeah, Weapon of Choice.
Where he's like dancing around to a song. We thought, okay, well that would be it would be kind of a cool idea. It would portray the feeling of the song. So we thought that Lee would be a perfect fit for it. He's a lot of energy, and he's a lot of fun, and he's a funny guy, and he's just very expressive. And so we thought he would be able to really play that part up really well. And so we wanted kind of a cool location to shoot the video, and we know that you guys have a connection with Cottage Antiques.
Right.
And so we wanted to use that store as well. And we kind of wanted to like ease Lee into it. We didn't want to like come out and say, hey, like we want you to be this dancing fool through for our video. We didn't want him to like get that impression right away. So we contacted him, and we first asked him if he would be willing to let us use the store.
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, sure. And we kind of said, okay, well, we'd like you to be in the video too. And he probably thought, okay, like an extra, like, maybe like the storekeeper. And then we told him the whole idea, and kind of as it was getting closer. And we really pitched it up to him, and he got really into it, and he was like, sure, I'm down. I don't know if he really knew what he was getting himself into.
Yeah, I remember he said to me, he was like, why do they want me to be in this video? Like, why wouldn't they just do, like, why do they want me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and he did such a great job that we got so many compliments about it. I had a friend who played the part of like the store man, or the boss.
Oh, Ken.
Yeah. Ken. And they played really well off each other.
Yeah,
because
they did.
I thought like Ken's also kind of a pretty expressive guy, but he played up the part of being like this, this boss who is really kind of uptight and kind of a jerk, and like Lee makes him smile a little bit and get into it, and then they're both having a really good time. So it kind of like it's that kind of song where it's infectious and you want it, and it's kind of meant to turn your day around. And so that was kind of what we wanted to accomplish from the video. We also thought it was kind of cool because it was the first video that we really weren't in. I mean, we had a cameo at the beginning, but we really weren't the stars of the video. We really kind of wanted to have a video where we weren't the focal point, where it was just more on the feeling and not all that us. And it worked out really well. I thought it went really well, and we've got a lot of good feedback about it, and like Lee's still hearing about it. So I'm told, like, to this day. So it was pretty fun to shoot, and I hope we can work with Lee again soon to do another one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be into it. Yeah.
I'm sure he probably would. Yeah.
So what's on the horizon for you? What's going to be new?
Well, one thing is for the band.
Yeah.
So Clear for Takeoff. We have a show coming up June 11th.
June 11th. Mark your calendars, folks.
Power Plant Live. So downtown in
okay.
Baltimore, there's like an open space. It's a big place called Power Plant Live. It's going to be an outdoor festival called Ruckus Fest. It's the first of its kind, and they're trying to do it yearly. 24/7 Entertainment's like one of the biggest booking agencies in Baltimore. They're booking the show.
Cool.
So it's pretty cool. It's going to go from like 2 p.m. all night, and it's a
Wow.
whole bunch of like heavy hitting Baltimore, like I think it's pop punk, pop rock, and like kind of progressive rock bands. And so it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about that.
That's cool.
So, June 11th.
June 11th. Mark your calendars.
Yeah.
Anything else coming up for you?
Well, band-wise, also we just finished recording a new song in the studio.
Really?
And and we have lots of other songs we've been working on in the past, or over the course of the past probably 6 or 7 months. So we're ready to start kind of recording them and getting them out there. And we may or may not be working on a video for our next song. So that's another thing to kind of keep your eyes out for.
That's cool.
So yeah.
Yes, we're going to definitely keep our eyes peeled for that. And sum it up for me, Mark. Why do you love doing what you do?
I love making people happy. I like kind of, and it's happy for me, obviously. Like it's an outlet for me. It's like a stress release, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of seeing people like appreciating and listening and relating to whether it be like what I'm doing, whether it's singing or whether it's like certain songs or martial arts or whatever it might be. Like I love performing, and I like when people take away something from it that's positive. So yeah, that's why I do it.
That's awesome. Gosh, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll get you back again sometime.
That would be awesome.
All right. And I want you to tune in and turn on every Tuesday right here on The Kate Show. And you'll see more great guests like my friend Mark. So that's going to do it for us this week. Like and subscribe, please. And we'll see you next time.
Check out Mark. He's on The Kate Show this week.